Hi, I'm Scott. I'm a Quiet Place fan.
Hi, I'm Senthil, and I'm a Bird Box fan.
So the two of us have decided since we disagree, we're going to start watching as many horror movies as we can and come up with a new way of rate them. Come join us.
Now they're going to learn to fear. Son of God!
Hey, good afternoon, Simple. It's good to see you again.
Good afternoon, Scott. Good to see you.
We're not here to judge films. We're not here to rate films. We're here to talk about them and what worked and what didn't work. But we absolutely have mass respect for all the producers and directors and cast members out there. Again, this isn't easy. Just like writing a book, it's friggin' difficult to do. And so, if you're watching this, we're not judging the work that you've done. What we're talking about is the things that worked for us and the things that didn't work for us. And we want to just tell you all that we congratulate you for the work that you do. So let's talk about Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter, because Cynthia, I just want to say I'm starting to note that your Bird Box influence is also influencing your choice of low budget horror, just to get to let the audience know. So you got to tell me where you found this film.
I'm looking for horror movies, and it suggested Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter. I thought, oh, you know what? Maybe this is kind of a parody off of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, and I thought this has potential. The concept has potential. And then I looked up the director. He had done another movie called Smash Cut that is the very first Sasha Grey non-porn movie. So I thought, hey, let's check it out. But it was well rated. It was on Amazon. It was suggested to me. So I thought, hey, Amazon's got to know, Alexa's got to know what I like. So I watched it.
Yeah, okay, I don't want to go first on this. You got to talk to me about so you watched this film and what was your reaction?
It was so off the wall. And I don't know if I could articulate whether in a good or bad way. It was just weird. It was weird. They didn't have a coherent plot. I believe it was made for $100,000. What's interesting about this, though, on the plus side, it had better fight choreography than we saw in Velociraptor. So I thought, hey, clearly there is some movie making experience with this crowd. They weren't taking it seriously, but I thought it was too long.
Well, the other thing is it was the mixed messages. Yeah, and so there was the scene with the whole, hey, why lesbians? Well, they're not despicable. What was the word? I can't think of it anymore. And even my daughter reacted to that. She's like, what? Now, mind you, this film was made in 2001.
Yep.
That was 20 years ago. I don't think they could have gotten away with half the stuff they got in there now. Yeah, I felt like I was watching a 1970s Jesus Christ Superstar. The acting was, and again, here was the thing with this one. So one thing with Velocipaster, they knew it was bad and were playing into that. Yeah. Killer Rack knew it was bad. They were playing into that. So to me, I felt like the actors and actresses in both of those movies totally knew that they were filming schlock and played into it. I didn't feel that way with Vampire. With Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter, it felt like some of those characters, especially the character playing Christ, was trying to be, it was trying to make it work. And it made it even harder for me to watch because there were certain characters that it felt like, and then what was the whole thing with the guy wearing the, what?
The wrestler.
Yes, the wrestler guy. It was just all over the place.
I would say they tried to be campy and comedic, but not all of the comedy really came through.
Yeah, they lost me through quite a bit of it. So this is one of those movies, Simple, that I couldn't tell anybody to watch.
No.
But before we started taping, you brought up a good point, Simple, and so I do want. You and I have always talked about it. I always have respect for people who make movies, right? It's
Absolutely.
not easy to do. And they put a lot of time and energy into it. And honestly, $100,000 is a lot of money. Hell, $20,000 to do a movie is a lot of money, right? So I have a respect for people who do this. You had brought up earlier where this movie kind of fits. We had talked about Troll 2, a couple of these movies. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, when I saw some of the social media feedback that this director had gotten, and so if this was a group experience and you're watching it with your friends and that you're not looking for the exorcist, or Abraham Lincoln Vampire
Right.
Hunter. And in that context, and you know what you're getting into, it may be fun.
Right. And I think that's a key here. I mean, to remember as we are going through and looking at these films and discussing them, there are certain films, I mean, like Troll 2, horrible film, but it's become a cult classic, right? It is just one of those things. And sometimes when you're just, well, I look back on what was it, The Toxic Avenger. Remember
Yes.
that became
Yep.
a cult classic, right? So there are
Yep.
certain films that are not great films, but they're so ungreat that they become great, right? And I tend to think Jesus Christ Vampire Killer is one of those films that either A, you smoked enough dope or you had enough bourbons. It actually turns out to be pretty good with a group of friends just sitting around joking around.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an experience. I would say it's an experience movie, and I could see this as an MST. Let me redo that. Mystery Science Theater 2000.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, let me try that again. I could see this as a Mystery Science Theater movie where you sit and you're cracking on the movie and you're enjoying the fact that it's campy and semi-successful being campy.
Yeah. I again, I think if you walked into this movie knowing what it was, Senthil, and somebody had said, "Hey, take this for what it is. It's not even a B grade movie. It's lower than that." And I mean, even the lip dubbing was horrible. I
Yeah.
mean, I, I couldn't tell if that was part of the, the joke. It kind of the old martial arts films, but I couldn't tell because it just wasn't clear to me if that was reality or not. So
Yeah, I'd love to talk to the director and just especially since he's done a couple of other cult status movies and
I'd
see.
love to get his feedback on what he was thinking and what worked
Yeah.
and what didn't work, right? And why they went the way they did.
Yeah, that's I think the fascinating thing about looking at these low budget movies. Did the director get what they were aiming for?
Because the other thing is once you're out of money, you're out of money. That's it. You got to
Right.
stop and you got to release what you got, right? So
Yeah.
is this what they wanted, or did they look at it and go, we got what we could get?
Yeah. I've got another question for you.
Yeah,
So I hear a rumor that you're about to release a book.
I
So
am. I
tell us
am.
about your book.
So I just got the author copy today. It's called The Kalama Dagger. And it's basically about a young lady who can transport into children's sleep when they're in REM. And it's not demon possession, it's demon infection. And she can remove these demons from there. But she is basically badgered into going to find one of these lost artifacts that I kind of flip heads on heaven and hell and God and Satan and go, there is no God and Satan, there's Ka and Ak, and they're the ones who created this entire world, right? And they created these artifacts in order to balance good and evil. And they get lost, these artifacts get lost. So this demon lord wants these artifacts. It's been a hell of a fun write, and everybody who has read it so far has really enjoyed it. Now it's my first book, so I mean there are flaws, and it's just like a movie, right? I can see the flaws, but I'm at a point now where it's just I gotta let it go, and I'm gonna push it out there. But like today, Cynthia, I got my author copy and I printed it at 6x9, and I hate it. 6x9 doesn't work for me. I need to go back to my to paperback, the actual paperback. So that means I got to go back and reformat and everything. So looking to do this by the end of June. It should be
So
exciting.
where can we go to find out more about it and where can we buy it when it's released?
Yeah, so you can go to my website, www.ascottwest.com, and it'll be available on Amazon. You can pick it up on iBooks. You can get it on your Kindle, not your Kindle, but your Nook from Barnes & Noble. And it will be available as an Audible book come July, let's call it towards the end of July. So I'm very excited.
I think it'll be exciting because as we've talked about when we started this journey, books are what got us to our love for horror movies.
Yeah. And I'm going to say too, Cynthia, there's a part of me that I know we're doing movies, but man, there are some great book authors that I'm connecting with on Twitter and through Facebook. I'd love to get a couple of them in here, read their books, do an interview with them, because there's been some good reads. Joshua Marcello with Severed and Scratches, which both were phenomenal books. I just finished Brian Barry's book. It's a campfire basically all of his stories are based out in the Northwest woods. Some freaky stuff in those stories, man. They just made you get. So it would be fun to do some author interviews as well.
Awesome. Once again, it's been a lot of fun, Scott, and looking forward to next time.
All right, Sentinel, thanks so much, and I will see you next week.